Hi everybody, here is my second video newsletter coming to you for the month of May. This month my topic that I really wanted to focus on was how oils really help your emotional well-being, the emotional side of your brain. There's a whole bunch of oils that really support your physical system and they're quite easy to use and you really can see the benefit of them, if your muscles are tired and fatigued, rubbing Panaway onto them, Copaiba onto them can really help support your muscles physically, and there's a whole bunch that help your physical system. However, Young Living have heaps and heaps of oils that are really focused on the emotional part of your brain, and they can be used to lift your mood, to calm you. They can be used when you're goal setting, when you're needing motivation. So I just opened my reference guides the other day I've heard it a few times and it always blows my mind, the science behind oils, but I did pull out my reference guides to remind me ready to share with you because there's so much to it, and I never studied chemistry at school, although I now wish I did. But basically, essential oils, any essential oil is made up of molecules, heaps and heaps of molecules, and molecules are made up of constituents, and so there can be 100, 200 individual constituents inside each plant oil. Lavender has different constituents to peppermint, which is different to lemon. Each oil has their own unique fingerprint as such. When we smell an oil, that unique set of molecules and constituents go up into our brain, and we have heaps of receptors all through our body, and they basically work like a lock and key. Like if you have the right key to open that lock, it is going to open that lock. If you bring along the wrong key, no, your door stays shut, it's not going to open. So that's a little like a basic metaphor for how oils really work inside your brain. The right constituent comes along into your brain, it's the correct fit, it switches that lock and it opens that receptor to get it working, to get it communicating. So it's really, really interesting how that works. So that's why some oils will work for this and some oils will work for that, because they each have different constituents that make them up. So fragrance is fascinating. Of all of our five senses, fragrance is really powerful, and we know this because sometimes you go somewhere and you smell something and it brings back memories, or it frightens you, or I don't know, you know how, like, who's had that before where they just smell something and immediately their brain is transported back in time, or their body is put into a tense state just because of a smell. Smell is amazing. So when you smell something, I've got my notes here just to keep me on track. When you smell something, those airborne molecules travel up your nostrils and they trigger receptors, like I said, which send impulses to the various parts of the brain. The amygdala inside your brain is the is where emotional memories are stored. And there's other parts of the limbic system. So the limbic system is directly connected to parts of the brain that control things like your heart rate, your blood pressure, your breathing, your memory, your stress levels, and your hormone balance. So that's the limbic system, and it's really, really important. Now, the sense of smell is the only one of our five senses that is directly linked to the limbic lobe of the brain. Directly linked. The other senses can indirectly affect the limbic lobe, but the sense of smell is directly linked, and that's our emotions, the limbic lobe. So anxiety, depression, fear, anger, and joy all come out of this region, out of our limbic lobe. So if we can smell something and directly impact our emotions, that's powerful. So the sense of a fragrance can evoke memories, like I was just talking about. Before we are even consciously aware of it. It hits our subconscious part of our brain. We smell something, boom, our brain is transported somewhere that we just never saw coming. Our touch, our hearing, they all affect our conscious part of our brain. We're like, oh, that is hot, or that looks interesting. Whereas our smell, it goes right past our conscious into our subconscious and transports our brain to places that we don't even see it coming. So that's really, really fascinating. The limbic lobe also directly activates the hypothalamus. Now this is a really important part of the brain because the hypothalamus controls things like our body temperature, hunger, thirst, fatigue, sleep, and our circadian cycle. So hence why a lot of oils like lavender, like frankincense, like orange can really help our sleeping because it goes right in there to our hypothalamus and it impacts our sleeping and our fatigue, or there's things like grapefruit oil that have a big impact on our hunger, or helps control the sensations that we're feeling with our hormones. So therefore, if we are really trying to get, if we are feeling really down one day, right, and we turn to an oil, then I hope this is a little bit of an example or a good explanation of how it really works. You reach for the oil Joy. Maybe you're feeling really down. You reach for the oil Joy. Now the oil Joy has in it the constituents that are going to turn the lock on your brain to turn on the receptors to promote feelings of joy when you're feeling down. Stress away. If you're feeling a little bit anxious, nervous, stressed, that is why when you apply Stress Away, you inhale Stress Away, it goes straight up your nostril into your limbic lobe, which directly affects your emotions. Therefore, you are switching on the receptors inside your brain to feel a lot more calm. It is just fascinating. There are oils like, I have this one in my house, the oil Believe. We use this one a lot if we are going, oh, I really just don't think I can do it. It's too hard. I'm scared, I'm nervous, I have to talk to that person today, I'm feeling really nervous about it. I use the oil Believe. I drop it into my hands, I rub it around, and I inhale. Now when I inhale, those molecules are going straight up, hitting my limbic lobe, switching on the receptors in my brain and bringing forth feelings of, actually no, I can do this, and I believe I can do this. So the oil Believe is an amazing oil. There's an oil called Motivation. Again, it's just different molecules, different constituents, switching on different parts of your brain. If you need motivation, if there are things that you are just putting off, not wanting to do, then maybe you need to think about the oil Motivation, because the chemical molecule inside this directly affects your brain. Isn't it fascinating? I find it really, really fascinating. So there's my video for the month of May. Emotional uses of oils and how the constituents zoom up into our brain and switch on the receptors. It is not a deep study into it. You can go much deeper into it. But for me, that's pretty much as I need to really understand the basics of how the molecules switch on our brain and have an impact on our emotions. So I hope you continue having a good month of May, and I hope this is helpful to you. Reach out if you have any questions. I'm happy to open my massive reference guide to see where it points and see what it does. But all the best, and continue on with your oils. And I love to hear your stories of how they're really impacting you and what they're doing to you. So yeah, have a good month of May, and I will see you again later.